Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the We're Not Stumped podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bolland, and today is Thursday. Thursday, August 14th. Thank you so much for listening. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the podcast because today marks the 158th episode of the We're Not Stumped podcast. Kind of an odd number, but I thought I'd bring it up anyway. And by the way, I do this thing all single-handedly. For those of you listening this at home or taking notes at home, yes, all of this is single-handedly. The thing I want to talk about today is I want to get some guests on this podcast to talk about some challenges they had with either a prosthetic or a prosthetist. And to give you an idea here, for the people that are watching this podcast episode, here's the first prosthetic I ever owned. And this thing is an antique now. I've seen it on a few episodes. Sometimes I point it out. This thing was great for me when I was not even 2 years old, by the way, when I was able to use it. I'm not showing off, but, it is what it is. It was before I was 2 years old. And then I have some more in the back, as you can see, other ones that I've used during the course of my life. I never had any issues necessarily with a prosthetic during my lifetime. But I have had people on this podcast, including Wafa Lavelle, Season 2, Episode 4. Her story was unbelievable. 30 years of not going to the right prosthetist, not having the right prosthetic. And it was something that was very emotionally draining for her. And it was a terrible situation. Well, that all changed in 2016 when she started to find out there was actually a community out there of people in the limb loss community like us that can share stories and give people recommendations on where to go. So what I want to do is kind of the same thing. See, I'm looking at my hair now. For those of you that I got hair sticking up. For those of you that are watching this, okay, I put it back down. Here we go. Anyway, I'm just having fun. For those of you listening to this podcast that are thinking, yeah, I've been through some things with my prosthetics or my prosthetist, or shall I say, my former prosthetic and or my former prosthetist, and my life changed because of it. Here's the deal. Let's talk like this. Let's talk real about this. People that are not a part of the limb loss community, which some of the people listening to this podcast either aren't part of the community and or at one time were not part of the community. You can't visualize. You can't think, hey, here's the deal. Here's what I need out of a prosthetist or here's what I need out of a prosthetic. You don't know what you don't know. So sometimes you take the recommendations of the doctors in the hospitals who may not have the expertise to give you the right direction. So you go with who you hear and who you know and what they recommend. And the next thing you know, you're going down a path that can take years. It can take years away from you as a very happy person. We need to hear more of those stories. We need to hear more of those stories where people actually made the change and made their lives better. And I want to give you the stage to do that. Because there are people out there right now, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but they don't know what they don't know. And they think, well, this is who my doctor recommended, and this is who I'm going to go with. And this to me goes beyond advocacy. This goes to the place where typically if you had an accident or a medical condition during your lifetime, and now you suddenly have limb loss and you're using prosthetics, you used to just see those prosthetics walking down the street yourself. You didn't think, I wonder how that thing fits. I wonder how that feels. I wonder how they use it. So now you are that person, and you're questioning that yourself. Gosh, is this fit right? Is this the way this is supposed to happen? And a lot of times, here's the deal. Prosthetics are personal to you. They're not meant to fit another human being on this earth but you. And as long as it fits you, that's great. But sometimes the prosthetist, there's a lot of great ones out there. Let's say the majority of them are great. But there's some out there that are just checking boxes and making things happen for their company. And that's not good for the person that is trying to make their lives better by using the prosthetics. So those are the stories we need. We need to hear those stories. We need to share those stories. So others are out there going, I'd never thought of it that way. I didn't wear a prosthetic until I was, let me throw out a number, 40 years old. I never wore a hook until I was 40 years old. And now I have this hook It doesn't seem like my socket fits right. I'm sweating a lot. Same thing with lower limb. I had both legs until I was 45 years old, until I was 20 years old. And now I have a prosthetic. I don't know if this is the way it's supposed to go. What is osteointegration? There are so many different things. And everyone's story is unique. And that's why I'd be honored to have someone come on the podcast. I don't care if I have 10 people with different stories. Everyone needs to come on this podcast and share their story and talk about how they went from one prosthetist to another, and it was a positive thing. And we're going to talk about the negative part of it, though, too, because people need to hear that. And or you changed prosthetics, and it made your life better for whatever reason. There's no right or wrong here. There's only your story. And I want to give you the platform to tell this story. I'm ready to hear it. So if you want to know how to do this, I got a couple things I can tell you. First of all, send me an email. I have people emailing me all the time. I'm not afraid to say my email address, mike@we'renotstumped.com. Send me an email. Take you 2 seconds. Love to hear from you. Number 2, if you're a little bit on the fence or trying to figure out, I don't know, is this what I want to do? How does this all work? How does this all work? Go to we'renotstumped.com. At the very top of the main navigation, there is guest inquiries. And there's different types of guests, whether you're a prosthetist yourself, whether you're in the limb loss community or in the general disabled communities. All of those pages are listed to explain what to expect, the kind of questions I probably will ask, and then you get to book a time with me right from that page. And I'm looking forward to that. Typically what I want to do, though, I want to know a little bit more about you before we record. So anything you can add as far as like some social media pages or something, so I can learn more about you. I just want to make sure that I'm asking you the right question. But again, this is a call to everyone within the limb loss community who had issues with their prosthetist or their prosthetic, made a change, and made the most positive impact they've ever had. And again, I've had some of those stories on here. I'm looking for more. Season 2, Episode 4. If you haven't heard that one, listen to Wafa Lavelle. It's an incredible story. I mean, it's one that needs to be shared, and I want to share yours. So that's all I got for today. It's a call to you to come on this podcast. And by the way, if my call for guests doesn't quite fit you, but you want to be a guest because you want to share your story, come on. Yeah, love to have you. Love to have you. I got so many guests lined up. I've had so many great guests. Actually, 2 days ago on August 12th, I had Katie Thomas on. And Katie is missing a right hand just like me. We had a great time. If we were together, we either juggled or clapped. I mean, that's how great of a time we had. She's a fantastic person. She works for an organization called the Argon Agency. I had Megan Thomas on recently, too. She does website accessibility. What a wealth of knowledge. Brittany Dijon was on. Oh, I've had so many great guests on. And the next great guest is probably you. So come on. So it has nothing. If we want to talk beyond just the prosthetic journey that I talked about, great. That's fine. I still want to hear your journey. There's so many parts of your journey that need to be shared. Others like you need to hear it. But there is a special call out to people that have had problems with prosthetists, organizations, if you'd like, please let me know that, and or prosthetics. So that's it for today. Was it August 14th, 2025? I'm Mike Bolland, and I'm going to tell you what right now, everybody. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Can't wait to talk to you next week.